So let me thank MTN for that privilege and honor as well. And allow me to also express my congratulations to the staff of MTN who will receive awards today, and thank them for the contribution they make to community development and to the empowerment, in particular, of young people and vulnerable communities. I wish them well in their ongoing community development work. I thought then I would begin, and of course I got a second email from MTN after asking me to speak. The second email was a little cheeky because it said, "We don't expect you to speak for long." Now, I must indicate I'm not sure whether I will obey that one, but nevertheless, here we are. I thought I'd begin really by trying to talk about how we might, certainly in South Africa, but broadly on the African continent, how we could make better use of the opportunities for public-private partnerships and use these for accelerated and inclusive development in our countries and broadly on the continent. Now, this notion of public-private partnerships occurs in a very concrete and direct way in South Africa's National Development Plan, what we call our Vision 2030. It presents a number of ambitious objectives which it posits can only be achieved if we develop robust social compacts and social partnerships as a country across sectors and institutions. The NDP supports the ideals that all of us share, I believe, on the African continent, of ending poverty, of significantly reducing inequality, and of creating new enterprises, more jobs, and improved livelihoods for all our people. So these, in a nutshell, describe the goals that are elaborated in the National Development Plan. I would say they're also elaborated in our Agenda 2063, which is Africa's ambitious goal for the Africa that we want. I believe that as South Africa, we are fortunate in that we have a well-established private sector that has the institutional capacity, the experience, the talent, and the resources to make a significant contribution both to this proposed social compact of the NDP and Agenda 2063 and to the achievement of the wide range of goals for development that all of us share on our continent. Given that we've now had 25 years of freedom, we should really, as South Africa, have made very, very good achievement out of public-private partnerships. But my sense is that we've not yet fully exploited their potential to the good of our development goals. If you look, for example, at studies on the African continent, if you read the more recent publication by Dr. Miyake of NEPAD, which will soon be Africa's Development Agency, a very interesting book on the progress of Africa over the years since we adopted the National Development Plan. If you read UNESCO's report on innovation on the African continent and a range of studies which contain various indicators of development, particularly indicators of competitiveness in Africa, it is clear that there are several areas in which we fall very short. And many of those areas are not the substance of public-private partnerships that we have across the continent. One of the areas in which we are found wanting in much of this literature is in the aspect of innovation and the commercial development of intellectual property that emerges from research-focused institutions, particularly our universities. On our continent, as Africa, we fall really short on innovation through research. And it's a gap, it's an area that we do not address in public-private partnerships sufficiently. I think we need to develop new forms of Africa-wide collaboration which would advance innovation and research productivity throughout the African continent. I challenge you to ask any ambassador from any country on the continent on whether there's a fully modernized, evidence-based path of shared, inclusive development being sought through research and innovation. And I suspect the answer would be not yet sufficiently. So I believe that one of the things that we need to attend to as the African continent is in shaping the new partnerships between the public and the private sector. Much more attention must be given to research development and innovation. If we don't do that, our aspirations for addressing inequality, our aspirations for eradicating poverty, our aspirations for new businesses, new enterprises, new opportunities for young people will not be achieved. So my thesis this evening is that yes, public-private partnerships are an excellent idea. We should pursue them. But the purpose must be to change the character of Africa. And you can only do that by investing, 1, in higher education, 2, in research, 3, in innovation and commercialization of the outcome of research. If we could have that kind of partnership, I believe we'd be extremely successful. It cannot be good enough for Africa to just have 6 or 10 research universities. As a population of over 1 billion or close to 1 billion people, it just can't be good enough. So we must ask ourselves how we, in alliance, the public sector, governments, as well as public higher education institutions and the private sector, can work more closely together to change the competitiveness of the African continent in this particular area of work. It can't be good enough that on the African continent, innovation laboratories render a number of around 17. Centers of excellence, only 95. Won't place us in a space of truly competitive indicators along the lines of what the World Economic Forum reports each year. So I am fully supportive of public-private partnerships, but if they don't have as an intention a fundamental alteration to the character of Africa and its innovation ability, those partnerships mean nothing. I support the community development initiatives. I fully support what's being done with providing scholarship opportunities. I support the small and micro business support that we do, but the key to Africa being different is this kind of endeavor of activity where intellectual competence is utilized for African development. So I'm not taking too long. I stop with that challenge, and I look forward to seeing innovation laboratories on the African continent. I look forward to governments insisting that when South African companies invest in countries on the African continent, they must create research chairs, they must create innovation laboratories, they must produce the products that go into their products being sold in the African continent, produce them here. They must innovate here and make a difference in Africa. If we do that, I believe we'll be great. So I'm sure MTN will take up the challenge. I look forward to being part of their new innovation laboratories in Africa.